Welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that's got everybody talking. I'm Justin Paras, and I'm very excited to be your host for this special edition of Toastmaster Time. This episode is our contest edition. We are very fortunate to have two of the recent winners of our District 57 International Speech Contest. These two individuals finished in the top 3 at this contest. Toastmasters International has a variety of contests throughout the year, which are designed to help speakers take their skills to the next level. Tonight, you will hear these two winners deliver the actual speeches that they delivered at the recent District 57 International Speech Contest Finals. Each of these individuals won their respective club contest, area contest, and division contests, which propelled them to the district finals. Our first guest is Larry Miller from Benicia Capital Toastmasters. Larry, welcome to Toastmaster Time.
Thank you, Justin.
So tell our audience, how long have you been in Toastmasters?
I'm fairly new. I started in May of 1993.
Wow, that's phenomenal that you've stuck with Toastmasters for that long. So share with us, what are some of the benefits that you've experienced as a result of your Toastmasters journey?
Well, I've been able to increase my ability to listen, because active listening is really important. And in doing so, with my hospice work and with doing memorials and eulogies, you really need to listen to what the person is saying and feeling. And that's been totally from Toastmasters.
Awesome. So for those audience members at home who are listening to this interview right now, if there's somebody out there who is a little bit nervous about public speaking, what's one bit of advice that you could share with them?
I would say to don't walk to the next club meeting, run, because you'll be amazed at what you'll see, what you'll experience, and what the benefits will be.
I love it. I love it. All right. You ready to deliver your speech for us?
I'm ready.
All right. So we'll give you some time to get set up while I share with our audience at home more information about Toastmasters.
All right.
All right. Toastmasters International is a worldwide nonprofit educational organization which helps individuals develop confidence through strong communication and leadership skills. It has over 14,000 clubs, over 270,000 members in 148 countries. For more information on Toastmasters, please visit us at toastmasters.org. At this point, I'm going to introduce Larry Miller to deliver his contest-winning speech. One thing you should know is that at these Toastmaster contests, the only information that the audience is given is the speaker's title and name. There's no other information given to ensure fairness in the judging of the contest. We're going to follow that same format here today. Larry Miller, forgiveness is a gift to ourselves. Forgiveness is a gift to ourselves. Larry Miller.
I'd like to talk about a concept that has enormous power and significance in our lives. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just a virtue we bestow on others. It is a precious gift that we give to ourselves. We live in a world filled with complexities and challenges and interactions that sometimes cause us hurt and pain. These emotions can fester within us, creating a resentment that is heavy on our hearts and our minds. That resentment is so heavy, it feels like a backpack filled with stones. The person that hurt me the most in my life was my stepfather, Roy, who came into my life at age 5. When my mother was first dating Roy, my relatives said I was the best kid in the whole world. When they got married, it was a 180-degree turnaround. He used to come home drunk just about every night, and I would get beat with a leather belt over and over again with the belt buckle end. One night, when I was about 10, he came home drunk almost an hour and a half after our normal dinner hour, and found out that we had started eating before he got there. He went into a rage. He started beating my mother with his fists and dragging her around the kitchen by her hair. I mean, there was hair all over the place. I picked up a chair and I was gonna hit him with it. But he heard me and grabbed the chair out of my hand and started beating me about the head. Can you imagine living through something like that in your own home when you expect to be safe? He was always telling me, "You're stupid. You can't do anything right. And you'll never, ever amount to anything." I carried my resentment for Roy for 35 years. For 35 years, I carried that backpack of resentment. And it was debilitating. It kept me stuck in the past and stopped me from moving forward in life. I spent many, many years in therapy and personal growth workshops. I actually got to the point of unconditional love for Roy. In case you missed that, I repeat. I actually got to the point of unconditional love for Roy. That unconditional love led to forgiveness. In 1988, Roy was in the Nebraska Veterans Hospital dying of leukemia. When I got there, the doctor said that Roy wanted to go home to die. But the doctor said that his blood count, white blood count, was too low because of leukemia, and he couldn't let him go. I was able to spend 3 full days with Roy. I always lovingly had my hand on his arm. I talked to him. He just listened. I didn't talk about the past. I didn't need to. And at one point I said, "I love you, Roy." Didn't say a word. I didn't need a response from him. On the 3rd day, I asked the doctor to run the white blood test again. "No, it's just a waste of time and money." Well, I insisted that he run the test again. He came back shaking his head. "I don't know how, but his white blood cell count is above normal and he can go home." Do you think my forgiveness caused the white blood cell count to go up? 2 weeks later, Roy got his dying wish. He peacefully passed away at home. And because of my forgiveness, I too got a gift. I got rid of that backpack of resentment and became my lighter self. How many of you have someone in your life that you need to forgive? You too can give yourself the gift of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or condoning the actions that caused us pain. No. It's a conscious choice between love and compassion over resentment and animosity. Forgiveness allows us to see the humanity in others. It allows us to escape the pain from the past and to move into the bright new future we deserve. As you navigate the complexities of human relationships, remember that forgiveness is not just something that we bestow on others. It is above all else a precious gift that you give to yourself.
Thank you, Larry, for that speech. Come on back for a short post-speech interview. Larry, I was really struck by the honesty, the vulnerability, and how real you came across in that speech. For people out there who have tough situations that they've been through in their lives and they want to share that story, but they feel vulnerable, what would you say to them?
It's really important that we share personal stories. Personal stories really connect with an audience. And sometimes, even in the beginning, when I was thinking about this speech, I was thinking, yeah, some people won't believe it. They think I made it up or something like that. But I found out that I got a lot of support from my club when I first gave it. Mm-hmm. But that's true with Toastmasters in general, is it's very supportive, whether you're giving a technical speech or whether you're giving a very personal story. Mm-hmm. They're very supportive.
I completely agree. At the beginning of your speech, you talked about the hurt and pain, and I could see it in your face and in your gestures, and it added a lot of impact to your speech. How are you able to touch and hone in on those feelings after these incidences that happened such a long time ago?
Well, as I tell the story, I visualize myself in that moment. And therefore, it becomes real. Mm-hmm. As I'm giving the speech. And to me, that's the only way you can really, you can sit and tell a story, but if you're going to do a speech on it and, go into the emotions, you need to visualize yourself in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, Larry, thank you for sharing that speech, that message, and your wisdom with us here at Toastmaster Time. We hope you come back to visit us sometime again soon.
Thank you very much, Justin.
All right, we're going to take a break for a short public service announcement. We'll be back soon.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Our second guest speaker here tonight is Evelyn Lee from Amador Valley Toastmasters. Evelyn, welcome so much to Toastmaster Time.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So tell us, how long have you been in Toastmasters?
I have been in Toastmasters 18 years.
That is awesome. And I'm sure you've seen so many benefits in your professional career and your personal life. Share with us some of the highlights in terms of the benefits that you've experienced through Toastmasters.
What I've enjoyed the most is how much Toastmasters has helped improve my story writing. I've always been a ham, and it's fun to stand in front of others and be goofy, but to share a serious message and to hold people's attention, that required a lot of practice and learning from the folks in my clubs.
Awesome. So let's say there's somebody at home watching this and they've got a big speech coming up and they're not in Toastmasters, they're a little apprehensive about this presentation they're going to give. What are some bits of advice you would share with somebody in that situation?
Two things to keep in mind. One, what is it that you want to convey to your audience? Do you want them to feel something? That way you're focusing on them. And the other would be, if you can, try to find something within your speech that you just love that part. And you can't wait to get to when you get to say it and share it to the audience. That will convey excitement and give you something to look forward to rather than just being fearful.
I love that. 2 bits of advice: focus on the audience and have something to look forward to, which takes the pressure off yourself and actually gets you excited about your speech. All right, I'm excited to hear your speech. Are you ready to deliver it?
Yes, I am.
All right, so go ahead and get set up, and I'm going to share some additional info on Toastmasters with our audience. The best way to understand what Toastmasters can offer you is to attend a club meeting. There are clubs everywhere. Each meeting has 3 sections. In the first section, members give prepared speeches that they've been preparing using one of the many Toastmaster pathways. In the second part, we work on our impromptu and on-the-fly speaking skills in the table topics section. And in the third and final part, members give and receive feedback to help each other excel and improve on their communications journey. And there are a plethora of roles in a Toastmasters meeting, which help the meeting stay organized and flowing well. For more information on Toastmasters, again, please check out toastmasters.org. At this point, Evelyn will give her speech. Evelyn Lee, completing the connection, Evelyn Lee.
Communication is a team sport. For example, if I was going to be speaking with my mom, I would start with a topic. Let's call this ball the topic. It's made up of complex sentences and interesting words. Then I pass the topic to Mom, and my little 86-year-old Armenian mother catches the topic and attempts to create a response by reaching for her basket of words. But just as she's about to connect, dementia blocks the shot, sending the topic out of play. Dementia is a ruthless competitor. But Toastmasters and guests, Mom and I have found there are a few ways to stay in the communication game and keep connected. Now, 5 years ago was when Mom was diagnosed with Parkinson's-related dementia, and she needed a lot of physical care. Mentally, she enjoyed a good conversation, but often struggled to find her words. Smart woman that she was, her alternative words were very creative. One day, I handed Mom a cup of water. She took a sip. Sweetie, it's too cold. Why don't we put the cup in the little castle and let it dance with the water for 1 minute? Do you know what she was requesting? I knew, but I really wanted to correct her and say, you mean microwave the water for 1 minute? But I knew from past experience that when I corrected Mom, it just made her frustrated and sad about her failing brain. So I kept my mouth shut, microwaved the water, brought her back a warm cup of water. She thanked me with her pretty smile and then passed me a new topic. We continued to converse, connecting. Dementia changed tactics, slowly stealing Mom's ability to understand words. And 2 years ago, we were forced to change our communication strategy again. I happened to be gabbing at that time to Mom about some juicy family gossip. Blah, 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 blah. As I spoke, I noticed Mom's eyes getting really big. Her head was rearing back. It kind of looked like she was trying to escape all my words and negative stories. I stopped talking. Mom relaxed. She smiled apologetically. Too many words. I don't understand. How might you have responded if you'd heard that? I love my mom, And I love a word challenge. I stepped back onto that communication court. A little change in the game. This time I introduced a happy topic, one made up of short sentences and simple words. And I faced Mom as I passed her the topic. And Mom played like a champ. She nodded, she smiled, she even had a few words of response. Score! We were communicating again. But dementia never lets you win for long. It continued to steal the rest of Mom's word recognition. I found that out last May when Mom and I were sitting together in the pretty garden of her care home. We were enjoying the warmth of the sun. We could hear the little birds chirp, chirp, chirping in the trees. I looked around for a topic to discuss, noticed a blue pot with yellow daisies. I turned to face Mom and said, "Yellow is your favorite color. Do you like the flowers?" Mom looked back at me, eyes blank. That was a block to my heart. Without words, how could I communicate? I looked at Mom, longing to connect, but dementia had defeated us. Now Mom continues to recognize facial expressions, and she must have seen the consternation on my face because there was a shift in her eyes from blank to soft. And then she found a way to communicate with me. She held open her arms for a hug. Oh, I leaned over and we hugged tightly. It felt really good to connect again. I've shared our stories with you because each year 10 million people worldwide will be diagnosed with dementia. So if you're like me, you may be blessed to spend time with someone, a loved one, who is struggling to communicate. It can feel stressful, frustrating. If they repeat themselves one more time, breathe. I know you can do it. Your loved one wants to connect with you too. From personal experience and the advice of professional caregivers, avoid arguing. Be encouraging. If you can, try to use short sentences, simple words. Don't talk down to them, but do keep your topics happy. And remember to face the person when speaking. When words are no longer understood, just let that conversation ball drop and pick up your loved one's hand instead. As Mom lovingly showed me, a warm hug, time spent together, clearly expressed affection, completing the connection.
Thank you, Evelyn, for that speech. Come on back for a few questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that speech, which centered around a very personal story. My mom had a massive stroke about 10 years ago, so I can relate in seeing a parent kind of go through a tough health challenge like that. I really loved your use of the ball. So tell me, how did you decide on that prop?
That was seeking to do a metaphor. That was my goal this year. My speech is try to learn how to use a metaphor. Mm-hmm. And the one that seemed to work best for someone you want to talk about communicating with someone who has dementia, it's like two people communicating back and forth. What's a sport that's back and forth? I did think soccer initially, but that means it's at your feet and very difficult to for an audience to see if they're seated and you're not on a stage. So my second option was basketball.
Nice, it worked very well.
Thank you.
I really appreciated how you were able to sprinkle little bits of humor throughout your speech. In the impression of your mom, there was humor there, and then the part where you said blah 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 blah, I thought that was funny too. How did you develop your sense of humor? And I'm asking that because for a lot of people, it's not easy being funny in front of an audience.
It's very difficult. I used to listen to people and laugh and say, gosh, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And basically, I'll say there's one rule to follow because I'm not a comedian, but it is fun to try and make people laugh. And that is, anytime you make a statement, is there a way for you to twist it? And there's your joke right after
Kind of
you
something
make your
unexpected
statement.
at the very end.
Exactly.
I like that tip. Last question for you. When it comes to topics related to family members, especially ones that are emotional, I know for myself, I can get emotional in the middle of the speech, and maybe other people feel the same way. How do you still maintain composure when delivering a speech that is more of a serious nature like this?
It's a tough one. Now, I've been doing this so many times, you start, but I do remember when I first competed at the club level, I did have tears come to my eyes near the end. So it can impact you. You're reliving. If you want the speech to really seem real and connect with your audience, you have to relive that experience for them. And that can be tough. Give yourself a chance to breathe. It's okay if tears come. People will feel for you. You don't want to start bawling and lose it.
But it sounds like the repetition definitely helps.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for coming on Toastmaster Time. Feel free to come back again.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right. That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Toastmaster Time is filmed in the San Francisco Bay Area. For more information, please visit toastmastertime.com. Toastmaster Time is sponsored by District 57 Toastmasters. For more information on District 57, please be sure to visit d57tm.org. And for more information on Toastmasters International, including where you can find a club near you, please check out toastmasters.org. I want to thank our wonderful staff and volunteers here at the Palo Alto Media Center and express my gratitude to Larry and Evelyn for visiting us and delivering their contest-winning speeches with us here tonight. On behalf of all of us at Toastmaster Time, I want to encourage you to join Toastmasters and to keep on talking.